Motorcycle Sports Radio Centre. This is the Motorcycle Sports Radio Weekly Review. Coming up on this week's Weekly Review, Alastair Seeley joins RAF Reserves BMW for the 2016 British Superbike Championship. Multiple TT winner Ian Hutchinson is to ride in the British Superstock Championship on the Tyco BMW 1000cc Super Stocker. Christian Idden is to join Michael Laverty at Tyco BMW for the 2016 British Superbike Championship. Kianari and Bridewell are to team up at Bennett Suzuki for the 2016 British Superbike Championship. And Valentino Rossi takes his fourth Monza Rally win. Andy Reid is to move from the traction control Yamaha Keith Flint Racing Team to join Quattro Plant Kawasaki for the 2016 British Supersport Championship. And Scott Redding sets the pace on the final day of testing at Jerez. And two-stroke 250 GP race set to return to the TT course in August's Classic TT. You're listening to Motorcycle Sports Radio from the Motorcycle Sports Radio Centre. Welcome to Motorcycle Sports Radio Weekly Review. I'm Si McCready. Thank you so much for joining us today. So in a look at our top story this week, Alastair Seeley has joined the RAF Reserves BMW squad for 2016 British Superbike Championship. Now we know that the wee wizard was keen to get back into superbikes and we know that he has now taken his chance with the RAF Reserves BMW team. So he must be absolutely confident in the bike. We know that Peter Hickman has just left the Lee Hardy Racing team to join JG Speedfit Kawasaki, and definitely I'm sure what Seeley has seen, especially with the Macau Grand Prix win for the team, he's confident that that bike can do it on the roads at the Northwest 200 as well, remembering that the Northwest 200 has to be a pivotal part of Alastair Seeley's plan, especially when you consider that he's had a staggering 15 wins there. So Alastair Seeley is moving on to the RAF Reserves BMW team for 2016 British Superbike Championship. He leaves Tyco BMW after coming second in the 2015 British Superstock 1000cc Championship. But the addition of Christian Idden to the Tyco BMW Superbike squad to ride alongside Michael Laverty in 2016 has basically left his aspirations with Tyco BMW with nowhere to go really, so we can't blame him for moving on. He has to go where he's going to get the ride and going to get the ride that he wants, so we look forward to seeing what he can do in 2016 on the RAF Reserves BMW Lee Hardy Racing Team. We wish the wee wizard all the very best. You're listening to Motorcycle Sports Radio because two wheels are far better. So now that Seeley has departed the Tyco BMW squad and obviously given up his spot in riding in the British Superstock 1000cc Championship, we are delighted to announce that Ian Hutchinson will be taking his place and he will be riding in the BASB Superstock 1000cc Championship in 2016 with the Tyco BMW team. Now obviously we announced a long time ago that Hutchie was riding for Tyco BMW on the roads in 2016, but he is now also going to be riding in the Superstock 1000 Championship, which will basically see him take the seat that Seeley held last year, and Seeley ridden with last year. Obviously Hutchie knows it's a very, very good bike. It came second in that championship, and obviously a big part of this as well is the fact that both Bridewell and Laverty finished in the showdown of the BSB Championship, and I think they were the only manufacturer, the only team to come in the top six, to have two bikes in the top six. So absolutely Hutchie knows that he's on to a good thing here, and I feel that given his recent success and comeback at the TT, the determination he showed over the years to overcome that horrific accident that he had with the damage to his leg. It's fantastic to see him get this opportunity to get this shot and have a crack at a British Championship title like this again as well. I do feel absolutely they're going to have a lot of information and a lot of knowledge, obviously running that bike last year in the Super Stock Championship, especially with it coming second as well. So he's jumping onto a good bike. All the information and all the data will be there to spur him on and have him riding and running at the front every week. So we look forward to seeing what Hutchie can do on that Tyco BMW part in 2016 in the Super Stock Championship. Probably more excited about seeing him on the roads because now he's back to winning ways on the roads as well. You know that he's going to be competitive, you know that he's going to be good. So let's just hope that this season ahead has an absolutely fantastic story to tell for Hutchie, because I tell you what, when it comes to it, in my opinion, nobody deserves it more than he does.
You're listening to Motorcycle Sports Radio from the Motorcycle Sports Radio Centre.
So still staying with Tyco BMW team news for 2016, Christian Idden has left Bennett Suzuki and moved to the 2016 Tyco BMW Superbike Championship team to ride alongside Michael Laverty. Now obviously Laverty and Idden know each other very, very well. Idden, who just came into the Superbike Championship in 2015, had an absolutely cracking first year on the Suzuki. Now we all know that Suzuki is down on par and stuff like that compared to the rest of these bikes that are in that championship. So for him to get it up into the top six repetitively and to have those great results that he did have obviously let Tyco BMW see that he is the man, and he definitely has enough desire to win and enough potential to win, and I think that's absolutely what Tyco BMW are looking for in this season ahead. Now they had a great season last year, didn't they? Especially as they got both Bridewell and Laverty into the showdown positions for the running of the BSB Championship last year. Now it's very unfortunate that obviously they didn't sort of come in the first couple of places. We know that Josh Brooks and Shaky Burton were up there in their usual spots, but obviously very, very positive things going forward for Tyco BMW, especially with the addition of Christian Idden to their team and the fact that Michael Laverty won the last race of the season as well. So it's looking good for Tyco BMW in the 2016 season, especially with the news that Hutchie, as we've just covered, that Hutchie will be riding in the Super Stock Championship for them as well. So Christian Idden basically came into the BSB Championship last year with Bennett's Halsall Racing Suzuki. He did put it up there at the top. Sometimes it looked like it shouldn't be up there at the top, but obviously it has to do with the rider's skills, the rider's drive and determination. So it is great to see definitely the bolstering and strengthening of the Tyco BMW 2016 British Superbike Championship team with Christian Idden and Michael Laverty going to be riding together and taking on the rest of the riders on the grid, and we look forward to seeing what happens there.
You're listening to Motorcycle Sports Radio. Remember to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Motorcycle Sports Radio, and on Twitter it's @Bike Sports Radio. That's @Bike Sports Radio. Keep it on Motorcycle Sports Radio.
You can also get Motorcycle Sports Radio on iTunes and on TuneIn, so don't forget, wherever you go, you can take Motorcycle Sports Radio with you.
You're listening to Motorcycle Sports Radio from the Motorcycle Sports Radio Centre.
So staying with 2016 BSB team news, Tommy Bridewell has left Tyco BMW and has joined Halsall Bennett Suzuki for the 2016 British Superbike Championship Assault. Now obviously this sees Tommy Bridewell return to Halsall's team, so it is a going home for this guy. He's been there before, so I'm sure that this will only increase his determination. Now obviously Bridewell has come off the back of a couple of good seasons, obviously in 2014 with a Milwaukee Yamaha and 2015 with the Tyco BMW. He was a race winner in both seasons and got into the showdown in both seasons, so I am sure that he'll be hoping for an absolutely fantastic season in 2016 when he returns to the Halsall team on the Bennett Suzuki. So good luck to Tommy Bridewell as well. Now, joining him at the Bennett Suzuki Halsall team will be Keogh. Keonori has left the build-based BMW team after an absolutely terrible 2015 season. Now, obviously had a better season in 2014 where he was a title contender. Obviously, he's a three-time British Superbike Championship winner as well, so you don't do that if you're not good. So hopefully this wee move for Keogh will give him the wind beneath his sails again and see him return to his absolute best. It was a really disappointing season, I'm sure, for him and for the build-based team last year, especially given the potential that he's shown in 2014. So there you go. That is Bridewell and Keogh to the Halsall Racing Bennett Suzuki for the 2016 British Superbike Championship.
You're listening to Motorcycle Sports Radio. Remember to download the Spreaker app and follow us on Spreaker to be kept up to date with all of our latest broadcasts.
You're listening to Motorcycle Sports Radio from the Motorcycle Sports Radio Centre.
Racing legend, the Doctor, Valentino Rossi, has took his fourth win at the Monza Rally Show. He came in a staggering 50 seconds ahead of his nearest contenders, so it just goes to show that Valentino Rossi has got it on two wheels and he's got it on four. If you're a winner, you are a winner. Also, sticking with Valentino Rossi, the question has been asked in press this week if he is the greatest rider of all time. In my own personal opinion, of course he is. Wind your neck in and don't even ask the question.
You're listening to Motorcycle Sports Radio from the Motorcycle Sports Radio Centre.
And in our next story, Andy Reid has left the Traction Control Yamaha team and joined Quattro Plant Kawasaki for the 2016 British Supersport Championship. So that means that Andy Reid will be teaming up with Luke Mossey, who won the Riders' Cup in the BSB last year, rookie in his rookie season as well. And Philip Backlund will also be in there on the Superbike this year. So that means that Andy Reid is joining a fantastic team, great pedigree there in the Quattro Plant Kawasaki. And this will be their first time putting on a bike in the Supersport Championship. So it'll be interesting to see what Ulsterman Andy Reid can do on that bike. Now, obviously, Andy Reid is familiar with the Kawasaki power. He's used to riding Kawasaki's as well. So he's very, very confident in the setup and especially the setup of the team, and has the desire and determination to win in 2016. Now, obviously, we know that Andy Reid is a super sport race winner as well, and things sort of just got going right for him towards the end of the season last year. So we look forward and wish him the very, very best in his joining of the Quattro Plant Kawasaki Super Sport team for 2016.
You're listening to Motorcycle Sports Radio. Remember to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Motorcycle Sports Radio, and on Twitter it's at Bike Sports Radio. That's at Bike Sports Radio. Keep it on Motorcycle Sports Radio.
You can also get Motorcycle Sports Radio on iTunes and on TuneIn. So don't forget, wherever you go, you can take Motorcycle Sports Radio with you.
You're listening to Motorcycle Sports Radio from the Motorcycle Sports Radio Centre.
In the final MotoGP test of 2015 at Jerez, Scott Redding has come out fastest overall, beating Marc Marquez by 2/10. Now, Scott Redding of the Pramac Ducati team has said they didn't do a lot of laps, but the laps that they did do, they made them count. And he is very much looking forward to getting the bike onto the track in Malaysia now to test it in the hotter circumstances and hotter conditions to see if they can do the same again. But he has said that going into the Christmas period and